Guys, Sandy here, and today I am up with the Oh So Inspired YouTube team to show you what I did. So we were given this tag by Emma Williams, and it is a tag that has some butterflies and some greenery and a teacup and a spoon. And if you've watched my channel, you know I'm not a fan of scrapbooking with butterflies, so I'm totally not using that as all. What I'm choosing to be inspired by is like the way that the stuff is coming up and out, and also the greenery. I really like these leaves, so I pulled out a Sizzix die. I'm going to cut some of those. I've already got my title die, and then I'm going to use hearts, kind of like where the butterflies are. So let's see what I can do. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is grab my alcohol inks, and as you can see I have only a few of them. Just started getting into alcohol inks and exploring and having fun with them. What I'm doing here is I'm thinking of the most fall colors I have, and I don't have a lot of warmer fall colors. Most of my colors are in cooler colors, but I do mix up some of them, and I'm just putting them directly on the felt pad for the little alcohol ink blending tool here, and then I take some blending solution and dump it on top of the pad, and that's really what is going to be able to make the colors kind of blend and meld together. And I'm just doing the pouncing method, so I'm using some Yupo paper, and it's basically like a plastic paper that your alcohol ink can kind of sit on top of. It doesn't sink into it. I'm just adding a little bit more green, and I'm going ahead and just pouncing around. And as you can see, when you pounce, now that you have that like that blending solution in, it doesn't stay like tight. It kind of fades out. Now I thought about dropping some alcohol ink straight onto the paper. You saw that, and it kind of just like pushed away all the other colors, and I didn't really want that look, so I went ahead and just pounced on top of it again. And now I'm really liking the way this looks. I like the colors, and I'm super happy. Now I'm thinking that I want the same kind of colors, but I want something a little bit darker for the family die that I have that I'm going to cut out and use as a die cut. So I just grabbed some white plain cardstock, and as you can see, as I'm pouncing it down, it doesn't spread, it doesn't blend, it just kind of like lays there. So I'm just using what I have, and I'm just pouncing down as much as possible so that I can get some color on the page. And now I'm just going ahead and sliding it across the page. That's just really me trying to get some of the alcohol ink off of that felt pad that's on there, because it does stain your fingers and I can't be bothered to wear gloves. So I'm just tightening up the lids on that, and I'm just going to use this for die cutting out the title. And as you can see, it's the same colors. They're just a little bit darker because they're not on an alcohol ink friendly paper. It's just plain white cardstock. And I'm using some purple tape, and we are going to die cut that out. And see, I just rubbed my hands over it and looked at it. You can see that the alcohol ink is completely dry on the Yupo paper. So now I'm going to use these Pattern Happy heart stamps, and I'm just using some Memento ink, and I did not set it or anything like that. So as you'll see, after I die cut it, the flowered hearts are not going to be as dark as they are here on the Yupo paper. Alright, so I'm just going to do 4 of these, and I end up only using 3 on my page, but it's always better to have extra than to have to go back and cut more. At least that's my philosophy. Okay, and while I'm doing that, please make sure that you check out all the links in the description below for everyone who is on this Oh So Inspired YouTube hop. There is a bunch of us, and check them out. It's always exciting to see how everyone gets inspired. And I'm particularly interested in this one, especially since there's so many of those butterflies. And butterflies are not my friends. Huh. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And then I decide that I'm going to just cut some hearts out with the dies. And these dies are also pattern happy dies, and they match the stamps perfectly so that you can cut out your stamps really easily instead of like fussy cutting. The only thing easier might be a scan and cut, which, hint hint, I'm kind of hoping for one, but you know, I really need to use this Cricut Explorer I have a little bit more and really get into the cutting. So that's hopefully you'll see some more cutting on my channel because I'm trying. Okay. I'm just going to use some of that purple tape. If you haven't heard the purple story, our family does, I'm sure just like all of your guys' families do, you have those little things that are just fun little moments for you guys, and the color purple, I don't know how, or I've forgotten by now why it has turned to purple, but purple is now purple. So every time I say purple tape, please know that in my head it's going purple tape. So if it comes out purple tape, that's why. All right. And here I am frustrated with my stamp pockets because I bought the cheap ones because I thought I was getting a deal, but they are breaking and ripping and tearing apart. So now I'm going to have to go buy the more expensive stamp pockets. Although I do have to say, I saw on the Brutus Monroe website, they have some like 3x4 pockets that look super exciting. Not that that's going to be helpful for my bigger stamps and dies, but I might have to get some of those to try those out because I am all about the storage solution. Okay, now the inspiration piece did have kind of like a grayish background, and I figured, you know what, I'm just going to go for black because I do like black with pops of color on it. I think it's super pretty. So I grabbed some very old vellum, and it's yellowish flowers. So it definitely has like that fall vibe to it. And since this is Thanksgiving, I am using a lot of cooler colors, but you know, I'm trying to warm it up a little bit. So there it is. Now that adhesive I was using is the Close to My Heart Bonding Memories Dual Action Glue Pen. And it is a fantastic glue pen. It reminds me a lot of the Zig glue pen I used to use way back in the day when I first started scrapbooking. I'm not sure if it's the same formula or what, but it reminds me of it and I love it. So if you need a Close to My Heart consultant, let me know. I do have one. It is not me. Okay, so here I am. I used those leaves that I had die cut and I just arranged them, and I like the way they look. And now I'm just kind of scattering the hearts about, trying to like have them go out up at the top, similar to how the inspiration piece was with the butterflies. But I also wanted to bring some of that weight down to my bottom of the page, so I put some hearts down there as well. And I really like the position of where my things are. And if you're like me, I can position something and love it and then take it off to glue it and put it back, and I can never get it exactly the way it was. So I just decided to glue it as it stood. And I'm just dolloping down little bits of the leaves. And I'm not putting all of the glue down on the leaves because I want a little bit of dimension, and I'm planning on tucking some things into the leaves. I just went ahead and used my ATG to adhere down the photo part itself. And I was just getting rid of those little like threads. When you die cut, you know how sometimes the paper kind of sheds a little bit? Yeah, I was getting rid of that. Okay. So now I'm just positioning everything where I want it to go, and that includes popping up some hearts on some they're not pop dots, they are foam squares. And just to give it a little bit of texture and a little bit of dimension, because there is not a lot going on this layout. It's not a whole lot of decoration. It's not going to be, there's not going to be a ton of journaling because I have other photos of the same Thanksgiving, the same family Thanksgiving, and the journaling will go on there. This is just kind of one of those pretty pages that go into the album. Okay, and I decide I'm going to have some of the hearts hang off the edge of the page so everything is not contained on the 12 by 12 paper. I'm going to have it like go over, and I'm just trying to figure out where to use that extra heart, and there was not a place. So here we go, and I'm having this competition in my head between the warm fall colors and the cool colors, and I'm just making it go. I like these colors together, so it's working for me. Now I'm thinking that it needs a little bit of something. It needs a little bit of extra pizzazz. So I go to my Cheeky Studio sequins and I pulled out Winter Flowers. And these sequins are gorgeous. There's like green and kind of a red and a white that kind of tinges yellow sometimes depending upon how the light hits it. So I'm just doing some random sequins and I'm using my Zots, and these are the small Zots from ThermoWeb. They're not like the bling Zots. I don't have any of those, but I have oodles and oodles and oodles of the small one, and I'm going to use what I have before I invest in the bling dots, because believe me, I have oodles of these guys. Because when I was, you have to figure out what adhesive you want and what you'd like and all that. I thought Zots was going to be it for me. No, it wasn't. But I'm finding I'm using them more and more for things, especially to help hold down heavier things or something that needs a little, just a little bit of extra adhesive. So that's going to do it for the sequins. And then I'm going to grab my Heidi Swap. Oop, not yet. Just kidding. I am going to use these pink fresh gold letter stickers, and I'm going to spell out dinner. And I like these letter stickers because they are in kind of like they're not really a cursive font, but they're not like a block print font, so you can kind of overlap them together to make them connect. And that's what I'm doing here for the word dinner. Now, at first I thought I was going to reference something about thankful or thankfulness or something along those lines because this was Thanksgiving, but I decided nope. Same reason why there's not a lot of journaling going on this page. I've got plenty to say on the other pages for Thanksgiving. Okay, so now is the Heidi Swap color shine coming out? Maybe? Oh, I was checking, when I pull on my paper like that and shake it, I just check to make sure all the sequins are actually adhered and none are going to fall off. So here I am dropping some color shine, and then I see I have a very big blob over there. So I tried to soak it up with a paper, which usually works, but that was Yupo paper and it's plastic, so it's not going to soak it up. So I grabbed just a paper towel to get that big glob up, and now I'm just putting a little bit more down. Now, there's a code here at the end. If you're interested in Cheeky Studio sequins, you can use my code, Sandy10. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and be sure to check out everyone else on the hop, and we'll see you next month.